solid expanse, roughly like the domed roof on this building here. Here's the inside of that dome, and the stars that we see in the sky would be fixed into this solid firmament, and the whole thing rotates around a flat, stationary Earth. That's why all the stars move around the sky together as one set piece, because you can only have a solid dome separating the waters above from the waters and seas below on a flat Earth with the atmosphere in the middle. It doesn't work on a ball-shaped Earth. Number 21, the firmament dome continued. Isaiah 44, verse 24, I am the Lord who made all things, who alone stretched out the heavens, who spread out the earth by myself.
Absolutely.
Well, you can't spread something out by rolling it into a ball. Psalms 18, verse 9, he bowed the heavens also. 2 Samuel 22, verse 10 repeats Psalms. It says, he bowed the heavens also. Strong's number H5186 describes the word bowed as bend. The heavens bend around us. It's a domed heaven around a flat earth.
Yep.
Number 20, the sun. There are 67 Bible verses that reference the sun moving. You can easily look this up. Here's a title on one website that lists them all. But zero, zilch, nothing, no Bible verses at all that ever make reference to the earth moving. So, at the very least, the Bible supports a geostationary earth. Number 19, Bible codes. If you're familiar with Bible codes, then you'll know there's a matrix of flat earth clusters from Luke 13, verse 28 to Luke 14. Here's the matrix. Here's flat, earth, and at equidistant letter spacing you'll also find dome, canopy, tent, truth, edge, disc, even, and a lot more. If you don't have Bible code software, then you can do this for free at biblecodewisdom.com. Number 18, height and depth. Job 11, verse 8, it is as high as heaven. What can you do? Deeper than hell. What can you know? So, there's a height to heaven and a depth to hell. You can't have a height to heaven on a heliocentric, ever-expanding universe model. You can only have a height to heaven on a flat earth that has a dome over the top of it.
Yep.
Number 17, length and width. Job 11, verse 9, the measure thereof is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. It doesn't say longer than the sphere and broader than the curved ocean. You can't have a length and breadth on a ball unless you change the wording of the Bible to accommodate it. You can only have a length and breadth on a flat, level plane. Number 16, wisdom. Colossians 2, verse 8 says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world. 1 Timothy 6, verse 20, false science. 1 Corinthians 3, verse 19, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. A ball-shaped world is wisdom to those that live in the world and get their information from TV or the education system.
I agree.
Wisdom of a global earth is literally foolishness with God. True wisdom is not taught in the education system, and neither will you find it on the 6 o'clock news.
Sure
True
would.
wisdom is only found by carefully weighing up the options, and that's what we've been doing on this channel for the last few months, weighing up the evidence. Really try to understand what the Bible is saying here in these 3 verses, because it's telling us that the earth is flat, it's not round. Number 15, day and night. Job 26, verse 10. He has compassed the waters with bounds until the day and night come to an end. Well, that's interesting. Here's a flat earth map. The outer bounds are made of ice. The waters are literally compassed with an ice boundary. The sun goes around the earth like this. Both day and night can only come to an end where day and night meet the dome. Beyond the dome, time ceases to exist. Whoever happens to live in that realm outside the dimension of time, beyond the dome, which is the heaven, is also immortal. He's always been there. He can see the beginning and the end. Prophecies in the Bible, inspired by the Holy Spirit, show us The future is already foretold. And when the Bible talks of the everlasting, that's the place we all go to at some point. Problem is, most of us who reject the truth will face everlasting shame. Like it or not.
So we see that the earth is flat. These are another one of the hidden truths that is being revealed to us in these last days. And I think that it's very imperative for us to actually delve deep into this, and it's not a distraction because it's written in the holy text. We just have to read the holy text with understanding and wisdom, and then the truth will be revealed. So we see that the earth is flat, and there's ton of more of evidence. This is just a little bit so I can keep moving forward with this video.
The event is coming soon.
More understanding. All the masses are awakening to these hidden truths. We are in a time of revelation.
The masses are awakening.
Are being revealed.
The truth comes out. Mainstream Americans awaken. The truth about how the masses are so easily manipulated was reversed by the election of anti-establishment candidate Donald Trump as President of America. The deep state, while unwilling to leave the outcome of the election to the will of the people, made a major miscalculation in the common sense of the majority of people. They were convinced that with the help of the MSM, Wall Street and big business, their totalitarian regime could continue in the illusion of democracy. But contrary to their expectations, Trump won with a landslide difference. Trump's landslide victory unmanipulated. Z attached chart. Too much to be manipulated into a victory by Gary. More than half of all Americans woke up thanks to the efforts of the internet in exposing the truth. Thanks to internet blogs like Final Wake Up Call, Trump's tireless input, Julian Assange's fearless email publicity, Snowden's spy exposures, and many other contributors that canceled out the MSM historic blatantly false publicity. The eyes of many people were opened to discover that most of the public supplied info is wrought and manipulated and completely false. Ordinary people are discovering the lies, treason, corruption, etc., and that all terrorist attacks are false flags initiated by their own governments, in serving the manipulation of the masses' emotions, creating fear, for the sole purpose of advancing their New World Order Agenda 2030. If the ruling elites have to murder a few thousand innocent citizens with a dirty bomb, a chemical weapon, or have to execute a scripted nuclear terrorism accident, that is fine with them. Anything to stay in power is justified in their minds, no matter how destructive and cruel. Fear is their weapon of choice to command people's obedience. They try to control everyone's mind by staging violence, staging wars, staging terrorism, and so on. With Trump on the way to the White House, the party is just getting started, and vigilance must...
The EFT, Mr. Bloom has 2 minutes.
Commissioner, Mr. President, I rise again, I'm afraid, to make the same old hoary speech that I've been making here for several years, and that is, it is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money. And yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees. So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer. And until we start sending bankers, and I include central bankers and politicians, to prison for this outrage, it will continue.
Well said. Someone who speaks the truth. Look at the faces of the people that want to continue this oppression on the masses. Quite ridiculous.
What will happen now? We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Hitler also knew that the Hebrew Israelites were the so-called African Americans. He knew that the ones claiming to be Jewish were converts. This is why he had no mercy. But research the Holocaust, a lot of that stuff is fabricated.
Es will nicht den totalen Krieg machen, die Engländer, sondern die Kapitulation. Ich frage euch, wollt ihr den totalen Krieg? Vor uns liegt Deutschland, in uns marschiert Deutschland und hinter uns kommt Deutschland. Die Engländer behaupten, das deutsche Volk hat sein Vertrauen zum Führer verloren. Ich frage euch, vertraut ihr dem Führer?
I do have to admit that German engineering is some of the best engineering this world has ever experienced, especially when it comes to vehicles. Just had to throw that out there randomly. I'm a Mercedes driver.
Die Engländer behaupten, das deutsche Volk sei des Kampfes müde.
Nicht für Ideen leben wir, nicht für Theorien, nicht für fantastische Parteiprogramme. Nein, Leben und Kämpfen und Leben für das deutsche Volk, für die Erhaltung seiner Existenz.
Durch eigene Arbeit, durch eigenen Fleiß, eigenen Gottheit, eigenen Trotz, eigene Beharrlichkeit haben und niemals ermüden und niemals vertragen und niemals verzweifeln. Einmal wird unsere Geduld zu Ende sein und dann wird den Juden das freche Lügenmaul gestopft werden. Die heutige Generation, die trägt Deutschlands Schicksal, Deutschlands Zukunft oder Deutschlands Untergang. Und unsere Gegner, sie schreien es heute raus, Deutschland soll untergehen. Und Deutschland kann ihnen nur eine Antwort geben. Deutschland wird leben und Deutschland wird